What's good, everybody? We back with my guy Five Star, and man, it's been a little bit. I feel like since we talked some football, but it's time now. We got playoffs here. I mean, this is my time where I love football for real. You love football the whole season, but this my time where I'm locked in for sure, for sure. So it's good to have you back on. How you been?
Always good to see you, brother. We see each other often, but good to be back with the chat, man. Shout out to the chat. We appreciate you all for tuning in. Shout out to everyone. Let's get some positive energy going and let's go on and cash, man. What's up, KC? My girl. What's up, KC? Happy New Year's to you, KC. Yeah, man. It's time to get rocking and rolling. It's the time that we've been waiting on. That's the playoffs. We know everyone is going to be locked in. We're going to get the best efforts from the players and the coaches. So I'm really excited to talk it.
Yeah, that's all I ask for, man. Give me 100% effort. I don't like when I gotta guess and see who want to play, who don't want to play. Everybody want to play now. So
Right.
we got a couple games we'll talk about. We'll start with the first game that we'll see: Chargers and Texans. And these lines haven't really moved too much. I know the total came down about a point and a half, but Chargers, they're my team. I want to say Houston is your team, even though I feel like I don't know. Houston is your team though.
Houston, my team, especially since they got D'Amico and CJ over there. Like, I'm already a Houston, and I got much love for the city. My dad moved there from Louisiana in the 70s. Like, so my mom moved there in the 70s. God bless both of their souls. So Houston at the heart, but I got to roll with the Saints too because growing up as a kid in Monroe with my grandfather on Channel 8, we always saw the Saints play. So I had to, kind of got a love at that time as a little kid for the Dome Patrol and all those guys on that team with Jim Morris Sr., Bobby A. Bear, or later on Aaron Brooks. That was like my favorite player as a kid was Aaron Brooks. So yeah, man, it's 1A, 1B, but I'm definitely a Texans follower. Yeah.
And one of my favorite players is CJ Stroud. So this is a good game for me to watch. I'll say this.
Yeah.
That Chargers defense, I think they're pretty damn good. One of the top defenses in the league. And against the Texans team, yes, I love CJ. I trust CJ, but offensive line is shitty. They're missing two top receivers. I think they might struggle to get the ball all the way to the end zone. And you think you can take advantage of that?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Kaimi Fairbairn, the kicker for the Texans, to go over 1.5 field goals. It was minus 125 when I bet it. Then when the clients betted with me, it was minus 135. Now I think it's up to minus 140 in some shops. Fairbairn has made 2 or more field goals in 13 of the Texans' 17 games. This has a chance of maybe being a low-scoring game, as we know the Texans hang their hat on defense, especially with two of their main weapons missing on the offensive side. And I see them probably running the ball a lot with Joe Mixon, since the weakness for the Chargers is their run defense. The Chargers are 27th ranked in yards allowed per rush. So I know that the Texans will be trying to take advantage of that, which will eat up the clock. Also, the Texans have struggled inside the red zone the last 5 games, man. The offense is 5 for 15 in the red zone. And the Chargers defense actually allows the least percentage of red zone touchdowns in the league that usually get off the field on third downs as well, with having the fifth lowest opponent success rate on third down tries. So, yeah, give me the over 1.5 field goals for Kaimi Fairbairn. I do have a play on the side, but you guys DM me and talk to me about that. You went out, Skee. I think you muted yourself.
My bad. I gotta stop doing that, man. Damn.
Yeah,
But I gotta compare this a little bit. And Marcus saying it here in the chat, but we saw it in the NBA with the Lakers, with the Clippers. Those teams not looking as focused as they should have with all the stuff going on in LA, all the fires, worried about them losing their homes, their families, etc. We didn't see a whole lot of good effort from the Lakers and the Clippers. Um, do you think that that could also maybe have an effect in this
definitely,
game?
definitely so, definitely so. All of the areas that were impacted were all of the influent areas. So most of these players all live, as you know, Ski, from being from LA, out in Calabasas, out while the fires were up in the hills. So a lot of those guys definitely are going to be affected, if not themselves, their family members or neighbors and things like that. So it'll be something hanging over their head for sure. But more than that, when it comes to the side on this game. I think it's been a lot of great pub for the Chargers of late and a lot of bad pub for the Texans of late. And that usually affects the number because pretty much what this line is saying is that on a neutral field, the Chargers are 6-point favorites on the Texans. I don't know if the Chargers are 6-point favorites over many teams in the NFL just because we know that their lack of explosiveness. I know they've scored some points in the last one, but are you going to really trust Quentin Johnston when it boils down to it? Like, he's so up and down. We know he has the talent, but he tends to drop a lot of balls. Lad McConkey is good, but he's a rookie, so this is his first time playing in this type of situation. The Texans have one of the best defensive backfields, if not the best, in the whole league. So just for me, I do think the fires does affect it, but I think that this is a bad number based mostly on people not really paying much attention to the Texans and thinking it's the same old Texans team that they've seen. And I think that they're not taking into account the defensive line for the Texans, which is really a good defensive line.
Yeah, that total could be moving in the right direction, going down to 42.5. Chargers also think they said they're without Palmer. Dobbins is a little banged up. And Quentin Johnston, I don't really trust him anyway. He can't really catch enough for my liking, but he's also having illness. So we'll see how that one shakes out. Let's move over to Broncos and Bills. And I felt a couple of different ways about this. My odds screen says it opened 3.5. No way this opened 3.5 for Buffalo, but that must be a mistake. Right now, I see 8.5, and even I see 9. I see a 9.5. So we're getting
Beautiful.
some movement toward the Buffalo side. Um, Playoffs, man. I do usually like to think I want to roll with the better coach. I want to roll with the better quarterbacks. I don't know. I just have a little bit of hesitation. The Broncos' defense has been so good. Bo Nix has been playing better lately, but can he do it on a big stage? What do you think?
But I think that he's been prepared for this situation really well by his head coach. I mean, who's better than Sean Payton at getting the most out of his teams and the most out of his quarterbacks? Also, Bo Nix isn't that young. He's 24. Like, he's played a lot of football. And think about it, Skee. He started at Auburn, played in big games against Alabama, LSU, Georgia, where it's 100,000 people in the stand. Then he went to Oregon, played in huge games. Um, so I think that the atmosphere won't overwhelm him. As you know, college crowds to me are way more intense than NFL crowds are. So it's more about the pregame for Buffalo. I don't think that with them being outside, the noise is going to really affect them as much as if they were in a dome. Now, can he settle himself and have, good nerves about himself to deal with the situation? I think so. I think that Sean Payton is so smart, he'll get him some easy throws or probably do some called quarterback runs to get him hit so that he can loosen up and get in the game early. That usually works for young quarterbacks, is taking a couple hits early, and now you kind of blink back in and it's just football again. That's why I took Bo Nix to go over 25.5 yards rushing. He's went over 4 straight games, averaged 32 yards in those contests. Also, the Broncos aren't a really good running team. They don't have a really top running back. Ever since the kid came back from the injury, has not been the same. Williams. So Bo Nix is pretty much their run game. He's led them in rushing several times this year. And I think just that it's always a young quarterback's default mechanism to go to, like, I'm going to scramble when, it's a tight game, probably 1-2 reads, and let me tuck it. I see them man-to-man. He can roll. He's got some wheels. So I think that he can run a 20-yard run to get us right to the number, and then after that, maybe get a scramble. So I like the over 25.5. As far as the side, I'm all in on the Broncos. Their defense is first in the league in EPA per play allowed, first in drop back EPA per play allowed, fourth in rush EPA per play allowed. And it seems like no matter what you throw at Denver, they've been able to handle it. Vance Joseph is really underrated on the defensive side of the ball. Sean Payton really is a good head coach at working with his defensive coordinator and giving them little tidbits from the offensive side that other teams are going to do and help, devise a really good game plan. Payton is 4-1 against the spread as an underdog in the postseason, Super Bowl winning coach, and he's better than Sean McDermott. We saw it last year with a lesser team, with a lesser defense, and I think Russell Wilson was the quarterback. He outcoached McDermott, and they won in Buffalo last year. So Broncos are going to have a lot of confidence. They won 24-22 in the defensive struggle. And Vance Joseph's defense that he used against Allen really contained him. He only had 177 yards on 15 completions last time they played last year, and he had 2 interceptions. And even better, they kept Allen in check on the ground. He only ran for 13 yards. I don't remember if he was injured or something, but he only carried the ball 4 times for 13 yards. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that the Broncos kind of mush rushed him that game and kind of where you rush him, but you really want him to throw the ball, where you kind of cover the lanes and don't allow any scrambling and then have a spy. And I can see them very well incorporating that again. Then you have to look at the fact that Denver's 3-1 against the spread versus teams with winning percentages of 70% or higher under Payton, which means against good teams, they really come to play. They're really fired up, and he's going to have a great game plan together because Sean Payton sees this as a great challenge. Like, man, we don't have anything to lose. We're young. We're not supposed to be here. He's going to pull out all the tricks, and they're going to be ready to play. Home favorites of 7 to 9.5 points or 12-25-1 against the spread in the playoffs since 2001. So I'll be all on the Broncos. That's my biggest play of the weekend. I pray that the chat does not jank me. Please don't go down there and overbet this game.
I got a question for you. What was that? What was that ATS number? Was it 10-1? You said
what? Which one? The
versus
home
competition?
Favorites, 7 to home favorites.
No, you was talking about Sean Payton, I think. Versus
okay, 2 numbers. Sean Payton is 4-1 against the spread as an underdog in the playoffs, and also Denver's 3-1 against the spread versus teams with winning percentages of 75% or higher. So the best teams in the league. That's the Broncos put on their hard hat and come to play. The best team in the league, in my opinion, are the Chiefs. Full strength at their best, the Broncos went to Kansas City and should have won that game, if not for a great play by special teams by the Chiefs blocking that kick. I think the Broncos are a lot better than people think. They're one of the best teams against the spread in the whole league. They're 12-5 against the spread this year, man. So I'm on the Broncos plus 8.5. I actually think that if Josh Allen isn't careful, he'll be in Cancun on Monday. They better come to play because the Broncos are going to come in with no type of worries, no type of pressure, and they're going to play relaxed, and they're going to come to play, man.
I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit, and I'm going to say, I mean, those games, that's regular season games. I mean, we said it. The playoffs, you take it up a whole nother notch. Like, will the Broncos ever be with this Broncos team? If they played 10 times versus Kansas City in the playoffs, how many times do you think they win?
I'm not worried about them winning. I'm worried about them covering the spread, Skee. They get 9 points. And Josh Allen is 3-7 against the spread in the playoffs. So, if anything, the pressure's about to tighten up on him because he has not been good in the playoffs. Him or Lamar. Josh Allen has been ass in the playoffs. He had one game against Kansas City that was a shootout that they put on a mantle, like they done everything else he's done, like this year with only throwing like 25 touchdown passes, but he's supposed to be the MVP. When you got Joe Burrow throwing for damn near 50 touchdown passes, and you got Lamar Jackson with some crazy number like 43 touchdowns, maybe 3 interceptions, and they created a brand new stat called total touchdowns for the quarterback to make it where Josh Allen seems like the guy, the MVP. He's going to get exposed this weekend by the Broncos defense. It's a disciplined defense, and it's a coaching staff that understands that how he plays is on second reaction and wild horse plays. They're going to make him stay in the pocket and play quarterback and watch what happens.
I'm going to say, my boy G5 he said, you preaching now. He said, Skee don't like this part. Yeah, I never liked Josh Allen before this year, but I had a ticket on Bills under 10.5 wins. This man went out there and proved everybody wrong. He don't have nobody on his offense. Why is he over Joe Burrow? Because Joe Burrow got a whole
every week, Skee.
They done played a lot of teams. The Bengals can't beat nobody.
And they get beat by the Ravens, Kansas City every time they play them. Look at Buffalo's schedule, Skee. What's the best win they got?
Didn't Buffalo beat Kansas City?
What's the best win that Buffalo has? Kansas
City. Didn't they beat the Chiefs?
Yeah, at home.
Ain't they the best team in the league? They the best team in the league. You just said it.
Yeah, at home they beat them because the public was on Lamar. It was on Mahomes. We know what was happening on that game, man. Stop it.
And I'm also say Josh Allen. Everybody was saying he's so turnover prone, et cetera, et cetera. How many interceptions he got this year? With
He'll
nobody.
Be back to himself this week.
Nobody. he don't got no Jamar Chase. He don't got no. He don't got all this shit. He just making it happen. One
No,
man army.
he's supposed to do that. He's getting paid to do that. Mahomes did it forever. When Cheetah left, he's won 2 Super Bowls since then. So he doesn't get. Everybody creates these brand new categories for these quarterbacks that they want to make elite, like Allen and Herbert, because what it is some little nerds at home who are media guys who went to Syracuse or went to Columbia and got a degree in media, and now they're working and they, oh, look at this guy, 6'4", white guy that runs a 4.2. He can throw it a mile. Go, Josh Allen. Go, Justin Herbert. And at the end of the day, do you know that they use Justin Herbert's excuse when I say Herbert hasn't won a playoff game or the division? Well, he's in the division with Mahomes. Bro, Mahomes had to earn wins. He had to go play to become Mahomes. Now his out is you're in division with Mahomes. Stop it, man. I'm tired of these guys creating these narratives. I just base stuff on data, man. I like Josh Allen. I've liked him since Wyoming. I like Justin Herbert. I've liked him since he was at Oregon. I bet them a lot in college, and I know what type of players they are. And both of them are really good players, but they're not the elite guys that people try to make them into. Like, they're not those type of dudes, man. And you're going to see the difference between regular season and going against a team that's scheming for what you like to do and is going to make you play left-handed when he's dealing with Sean Payton this week.
All right, we done with this game. Last thing,
You
Mari
must argue
says,
with it, but bet Buffalo.
"Oh no, I'm just a Josh Allen fan now." But
Oh, yeah,
Mari
and I was
says
a
he
Josh
ready to
Allen
kick him off
fan
the
in
show.
19, and I was a Josh Allen fan back in 2016 when he was playing in Laramie,
See, I
Wyoming.
didn't like him then. I didn't
Yeah,
like him
he
back
was
then.
playing in Laramie, Wyoming, and I was betting him on late Saturday nights against Utah State. That's how long I've been watching Josh Allen.
Last thing I'm gonna say is, you said Josh Allen's supposed to do this, right? Ain't that
Yeah.
what Joe Burrow supposed to do? Where Joe Burrow at? Who he playing this week? I don't see him on the schedule.
Oh,
Ain't he getting paid too?
Joe Burrow, it wasn't his fault that they didn't make the playoffs this year.
Oh, now it's not his fault.
Bro, he's not the kicker. The game against the Ravens, when they missed like 5 kicks to win the game, what is he supposed to do?
Don't leave it up to the kicker. You the man, go score the ball.
Well, I love Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is a great player. I love Josh Allen. I just deal with data. When it comes to football, bro, it's no emotions involved with me. It's just like war. If I'm at war with somebody, it's no emotions. It's just data. Where you at? What time you be there? What I need to tell people to pull up. You feel me? So that's how I'm dealing with the football. It's the same thing, bro. I don't care like about my feelings. Like, oh, I like Lamar because he's black. No, bro. I just care about how you play because my money's involved. I'm worried about winning. So that's why I say, like, I got respect for Josh Allen. I just think he's a little overrated, Skee. That's my opinion, though.
Fair.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna have another discussion in a little bit. You don't even know, but we're gonna have one
Next
in a
week,
second.
we watching the game together. Now I'm pulling up. You gonna start walking. Let me start walking.
Hey, we got one more game before we touch that one
Right,
because I know we got to look at Green Bay and Philly first.
Yeah.
Philly was 3.5 as the opener. They're now -5. The total ain't really moved. I did see popped up a little bit before the show, I think, or sometime this morning. Jalen Hurts back looking, and practicing like he gonna play, etc., etc. It's been a little while for him. We were saying nervous, not nervous, but like thinking about if he was gonna play or not in this game. Now we know he'll be out there. Eagles at the house. I feel like the Eagles are the better team, like overall team. I personally like Jordan Love more than I like Jalen Hurts. And it makes me want to, like I said earlier, I like to go with who I feel is the better quarterback most of the time in the playoffs. So who do you think takes this one? Is it and also do you think Jordan Love is the better quarterback and who takes this game?
Yeah, they have 2 different styles. I feel like Jalen Hurts is the better winner and more accomplished, but he also played at bigger programs in college, so that's one thing to look at. But him getting them to the Super Bowl and going toe for toe with Mahomes when Mahomes was, really just letting it all loose on offense, man, is these guys got me laughing. Go walk. What's up, G5? Yeah, man. So yeah, I think that Jordan Love has a better grasp of the passing offense than Jalen Hurts, and that's what worries me about this game. You've been off 2 weeks. He's already not like an easy thrower. Like it doesn't come simple to him in the passing game. Like he's much rather run the ball and, get one read throws and take out. But when it comes to dropping back and reading the defense, he's never been really smooth with that, And I think those 2 weeks off are going to hurt him, especially early. So I'll probably take the Packers early, as I think that Hurts is rusty. And also remember early in the year we were beating up the Eagles, fading them first quarter because they never score in the first quarter. So I'll probably take the Packers first quarter plus a half and money line on this one, and the Packers first half plus 3. Now as the game goes, maybe the Eagles make some adjustments. We know they can run the ball really well, but Green Bay isn't as bad as people think against the run. They've allowed the 3rd fewest yards per carry in the league. They're also 7th in opponent rush EPA and 5th in opponent rush success rate since week 10. So lately, their defense has been better against the run. My only problem with Green Bay, and I would think that Green Bay could win this game because I think they have the much better coach on the field than Matt LaFleur. I don't think Nick Sirianni is that good of a coach. I think he's pretty reliant on his coordinators. If his coordinators are good, then they're good. But if it's up to him having to make the adjustments, they're not that good. And this year he does have 2 really good coordinators on the field working with him. So that's why they've had the success that they've had. But I think that when it comes down to it, Matt LaFleur is like one of those dudes when it comes to coaching. My problem is his receivers, man. They're young, man. They're all kids, and they have not played good this year. They dropped too many balls. Like Jordan Love's putting it right on the numbers, and these kids drop it. I guarantee you in the first quarter when the Packers had a ball, LaFleur is going to draw up something so clean that he or either Romeo Dobbs is going to be wide open, or either the kid out of Michigan State going to be wide open. Watch they drop it. They do it every week. Like they burn over the top, great play call. Jordan Love pretty much drops it in their hands and they drop it because the moment's too big. If the Packers can catch the ball, the Packers can win this game. But I don't know if they're going to be able to catch the ball. But I'll be on them early. And I'm playing off the fact that all the pressure's on the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is coming off 2 weeks. So I think it's going to take a little while for him to get going in this game. And I think what the Packers have been playing bad, I think they kind of been playing bluff because they didn't look like they cared to win last game. And they could have easily put Jordan Love in and won that game and made sure that they went and played the Bucs instead of having to go to Philadelphia. But they seemed like they didn't care about playing the Eagles. So it's something that they see in the tape that they think that they can have some success against them. So I'll be on the Packers for sure on the first half and in the first quarter.
Yeah, I definitely remember fading those Eagles in the first quarter. I can definitely understand, especially with Hurts missing some time. They might come out slow and have to rally in this game. So I think that's a great call there. And we got a little bit of time left. So it's time now. This is like a tradition. It's like a holiday. It's one of my favorite parts of the NFL playoffs. And I don't care. Call me a hater. Steelers and Ravens. Hey. MVUP, most viable until playoffs. That's what we've seen year after year after year. You said it earlier. I could like him because he's black and et cetera, but I'm saying what he do on the field. And what I see when it's around this time, trash. So playing a Pittsburgh team that has really punked him. I mean, he won the last game, but the first game they played this year, they was punking him, and they usually just punk Lamar. So I'm curious if you think he finally got over that in that last game. Do you think we'll continue to see the Baltimore Ravens playing like how they've been playing the last couple of weeks? Or do you think Pittsburgh punches back? I personally, I don't even think I got to say where I'm looking in this one. You know what I'm looking at. I'm not betting on a dude who don't show up.
Right. I think that Lamar is the most dynamic player. Right now, if the NFL would do a ranking, I'd say he'd probably be number 1 out of the best players in the league. Him or Saquon, they'll probably be out of those 2 right there. But as you said, so much pressure, man. He got the pressure on him. He's talked about it earlier in the press conference about he just gets nervous early. Horrible matchup for him. I know they beat him the last time they played him and handled him pretty easily, 34-17, but as you just said, that's the regular season. It's a whole type of different pressure and intensity that comes in the playoffs, and you going against one of the best dudes at being an underdog to ever coach, and that's Mike Tomlin. So the last 10 times these guys are matched up, it's been 8-2 Pittsburgh's won 8 times. And like Tomlin really gives Harbaugh issues. Also, the Steelers are 7-3 against the spread in those matchups. First time that they covered in a long time. The Ravens were the last game, and maybe that's motivation. We know that Russell Wilson is always a positive guy. My problem with the Steelers, I don't know if I could trust George Pickens. He's the problem with that team. He's the reason they're falling off. When they were playing well, it's because he was feeling good. He was happy. Him and Russ were clicking. But I think Mike Tomlin has made a real serious mistake by thinking that George Pickens is his next AB, because he's not. AB was a real dog, a real football player, man. You know, like AB is going to go across the middle and get hit. He's going to return punts. He's going to do reverses. He's going to do whatever it takes to win. And he's going to be twitchy and fast and strong at all of those positions when he gets that opportunity. Pickens is a diva, man. He just wants to stay on the sidelines and look cute and catch fade routes or go deep. When have you ever seen George Pickens go over the middle and catch a ball? So a lot of their problems is coming from George Pickens not living up to the billing as being the number one guy that they've trusted him to be. When Russell Wilson is scrambling, bro, he's looking for George Pickens. That's his number one option. You know what George Pickens is doing, Skee? He's turning up the field and holding his hand up. Bro, I'm scrambling. We need 7 yards for a first down. Why the hell aren't you coming back to the ball and coming to me? You're running away because he doesn't like contact. He didn't even want to be out there last week because it was so cold. So if it wasn't for George Pickens, I would be all over the Steelers on this game. But I just don't like him, man. I think that he brings a bad aura to that whole offense. Because if him and Russ aren't getting along, because Russ had him out happy, handshakes with him early when he came, but now he's back pouting and looking all weird. And like I said, I don't like dudes like that. You're a diva, and then not only that, you're not willing to sacrifice for the team. You know that George Pickens is so damn fast that if he ran a 15-yard route and stopped, or 15 in the end, he'll be open all day, but he won't run those routes, bro. Only thing he's going to do is run go routes and fade routes because he does not want to get hit. And I don't like that about him. Takes away the physicality. So now it means that the Steelers have to run the ball, and now you're playing into the strengths of the Ravens. They're a really good run defense. So it's just, if the Steelers offense is playing better, I would be all day on this game, taking Steelers plus 9.5. It's a stay away from me because it can go either way. I would not be surprised if the Ravens win by 20. I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers win money line. You know, so it'll be a watch for me.
Couple comments here. I'm going to highlight. Mark says Lamar has improved last 3 years. Anyway, my bet is Baltimore first half. He thinks Baltimore takes
that
early
actually,
lead.
Mark. I played
And
that.
Pitt runs late.
Yep, I played that too. First half.
G5 says no Zay Flowers. And this is the Lamar guy right here. He says take the points with Tomlin seriously. I mean, Zay is a big loss. A lot of those guys, I mean, the times when Lamar do be making throws, they be dropping the ball.
They drop the ball just like the Packers. Yep, same thing. Yep.
So it's just hard for me to trust. My guy Sab right here, he's a Pittsburgh fan for sure. And he's put his money up on his team pretty much every week. I ain't gonna lie. And he says, Skee, I don't know how we're gonna score, bro. We could definitely bottle up Lamar, but how do we score?
That defense to win, the Steelers got to get turnovers. They're gonna have to get some turnovers and get some short fields.
I think I don't like what you're saying about Pickens. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true, but I'm saying like to take advantage of the Ravens defense because their weakness is through the pass. Like, their run defense is amazing. So if the Steelers just try to run the ball all game, they're not gonna have success. So I think Pickens is gonna have to be a big part of the game, and that is gonna be how the Steelers can keep it close. So we'll see. I don't like hearing that from you if I want to bet the Steelers. I'll say that, but I'll tell you one thing: I'm not betting the Baltimore Ravens.
Well, Lamar is 2-4 against the spread as a starting quarterback in the playoffs. Russell Wilson is 8-8. So many games, man. Russell Wilson has played a lot of playoff games. 16 starts in the playoffs. Let's see if that means something late in the game when it really matters. Can Russ pull off some of the old magic that we're used to seeing him? But yeah, Lamar and Josh Allen are the worst guys in the playoffs against the spread, man. They're horrible. Everybody else is good. Jordan Love is 2-0. Jalen Hurts is 2-3 against the spread in the playoffs. So be careful with which one of these quarterbacks can handle these type of situations. Justin Herbert on one against the spread in the playoffs, so we'll see.
Yes, we will. Those are the games that we're gonna cover today. I do have another question, not
Okay.
about a game this week, but I'm just curious. Let's say, or two questions rather.
Okay.
Do you think that the Broncos are just a tough matchup for Buffalo, or are you just like how I'm kind of in a sense how I'm like wanting to fade Lamar, you want to fade Josh Allen?
No, it's nothing about Josh Allen. Certain, if it would have been the Bengals, they would have beat the hell out of them. You see what I mean?
Okay.
It's a matchup, bro. Nobody want to
Okay.
play the Broncos, and especially not him, because Josh Allen's style isn't typical quarterbacking. He's not a guy like the Bengals would give the Broncos more problems, like they beat them the other week, because we know about Burrow. He's going to read the defense and make the perfect throw, which is unstoppable. Allen is going to want to drop back, and if you show him some disguises, he gets confused, man, and he's going to try to run it and not rely on his athleticism. So he has to become Superman to win. And I think that the Broncos are so smart at their game plan and that they'll be ready for those sick and like we're gonna funnel you to what we want you to do. You see what I mean? And that's where the problems are going to happen because Sean McDermott isn't that sharp of a guy, bro. He's not that sharp of a guy. Pretty good DC, but Buffalo has played over their head. Besides, my homeboy over there, they don't have anything on defense. What do Buffalo got for real on defense? You can't even name anybody in the defensive backfield over there, except for the guy who died on the field. Like you don't know anyone in the defensive backfield. So I just think that if the Broncos are able to get to 24 points, I think they win the game. That's basically what I believe. I think that Broncos defense is really underrated. And more than that, I just think Sean Payton is a master at these playoffs, man. He's one of the best playoff coaches we've seen.
All right. The second and the last question I have here is hypothetical. We're saying say Buffalo beats Denver,
Mm-hmm.
and let's say Buffalo plays Baltimore. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Okay.
Who do you think the matchup favors?
Baltimore, easy. Baltimore has had a lot of success against Buffalo. They played them earlier this year and they dominated them because, as I told you, Josh Allen, he has real problems with deciphering different type of blitzes, like when the people can disguise really well. And the Ravens have always been really good at that, and they confuse him, man. And when he drops back, he's either getting sacked because he's holding the ball too long, looking, trying to find out where to go with it, or he's trying to make something happen, and here comes somebody stripping his arm. So I think that the Ravens would love to see Buffalo put up to Baltimore. I think that they would win that game against them because I don't think that Buffalo's defense would be able to stop Lamar from scoring if they clicking and playing well. He has a much tougher. It's crazy how this stuff all ended up kind of like the college football playoffs about paths. And man, the Ravens couldn't have got a worse draw and Buffalo couldn't have got a worse draw. Both of those teams that they're facing, they haven't had a lot of success against them in the past.
Uh, well, we're gonna disagree because as shitty as that Ravens pass defense is, Josh Allen gonna be lighting their ass up, man. And we'll be head to head if we see that matchup for sure.
You
I
believe in a
wanna.
lot of Josh Allen, you're going to be sadly disappointed this year. But it's because you had Amari Cooper over there. Or maybe Amari Cooper finds himself because he's going to need him because if he doesn't have Amari Cooper snagging balls and being the number one, you can't trust the kid, the rookie. He's not ready yet. And he's not going to be where Josh Allen wants him to be at. They do have a really good slot receiver over there, Shakir. So Shakir probably he does show up against the Ravens. I think he'll play well, but we'll talk about that next week if we get to that point because one of those teams might be in Cancun next week.
Hey, it might be. Hey, I might not get a chance to hate no more after this week. You
Right,
right.
right.
nah, nah, I'm always gonna talk shit when it comes to this, but we'll get there when we get there, like you said.
Yeah,
Before we move it over, I want to say a couple things. One, when it comes to this time of year, I become very confident in betting NFL.
yeah.
Number two, 5 Star knows 10,000 times more than me about football, and that's why I have him on the show because he knows the game better than me. He knows all the players, all the coaches. He could break this shit down, and I know he's a winner. And then last but not least, it's my dog, it's my friend. So we always can have a good time and talk it out. So
Yeah.
appreciate you coming through. We're gonna move it over to best bets. Um, I always like to ask you if there's anything you like to promote, and also if you want to leave a best bet, if you want to recap anything, however you want to do it.
Sure. Always a pleasure to be over here with my dog Skee, man. We like family, bro. And I appreciate you guys in the chat. Always listening to our breakdowns, man. We have a good time. And don't let Skee play bluff on you. We've been doing football together the last 3 years and we've been whooping ass, especially the playoffs. But usually we
Yeah,
always line up on the same side because Mahomes has made us a lot of money the last 3 years together, right? We made a lot of
yep.
money on Mahomes in the playoffs. So different format this season. So we'll see how if we can get on the Mahomes train again next week and ride it out. As far as it up, www.thewagerworld.com. Finally got it up. Finally, everything's almost completed. You guys, I say Monday or Tuesday, go hit the link and check it out. The store is almost complete. Couple of items are up that you can see, but do not look at the price. Those prices aren't right. My developers just put it in, but keep an eye out for the wagerworld.com. We're going to have all types of gear, sayings from the show, like it's us versus the machine hoodies, underground and underdogs hoodies, oatmeal beats no meal, live from Summerlin cap. So all of that high quality gear, and I'll make sure the Skee has some of it too. So you'll probably see him with some of the gear as well. As far as in a replay, we run with the
One
Broncos.
more thing. You
Okay.
missed one. There's one they said in the chat. Damn, I wish I could pull up the comment. But you were
Okay.
talking about a game, and
Uh-huh.
the dude in the chat said, "If it looked funny, it's probably
It's
money."
probably
He said, "I
money.
got that from you." Shout out 5 star. He said
Oh yeah,
so.
hey, we
That could
and
be
it's
another one.
live the other night. Remember, we won with that Skee with Villanova and UConn. With Villanova being the favorite at home, me and Skee both seen it immediately. It was like, oh, if it looked fun, it's probably money. It was on it. Yeah, hey man, I'm gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
put that one together too. I think I'll throw that hood together. Thank you for that suggestion. But on the recap, we're going with the Broncos plus 8.5. We're gonna go with Kaimi Fairbairn to go over 1.5 field goals for the Texans. We're also going to take the Packers first half and first quarter. +3, I think, is the first half. The first quarter, just do money line. The plus half usually is too juicy, man. A lot of time it's like -150. I always just do money line on it. That way we push at the worst case, but have a chance to win it also. And then also I gave out, let me see, who else did I give out? Broncos, Packers, Cammie Fairborn. Oh, over 25 yards, over 24.5 yards for Bo Nix. I think he can scramble and get that done. Let's clean the board, guys. Let's sweep everything.
Yeah, a lot of good looks from my guy 5 star, and there was one playoffs for you guys who are new where he won every single bet and you watched it undefeated for the entire playoff. So hopefully we can do that again in 2025.
2021. Hey, it's set in stone. I might make the Betters Hall of Fame for that one. 2021. 14 of those gets the spread documented, man. Let's do it again, man. And last year, I thought that we was going to get it done. I lost the first game.
Well, this year, we'll be right back on track, and we'll see if we can get that streak going again. For myself, for best bet, I haven't made a play yet, but I'll just if I'm making one play right now, I'm betting the Steelers, man. It is what it is. I'm betting the Steelers plus 9.5, and I let the chips fall where they may. Like I said before, again, I appreciate you taking the time to come talk these games out with us. Chat, we appreciate you guys as well. And yeah, I gotta go right over to the NBA show with Dutch, Babano, and Wham Bam. We'll talk out Friday's NBA game. So I'll catch you over there. If not, best of luck on all your action this weekend. Peace.